Hello, welcome to the Steel and Wood channel. So, coming up next weekend, my wife and I are planning to take a trip up to Tennessee and get our first dose of the COVID vaccine. Uh, so, we decided to make it a little bit of a trip and stay a few days up in the North Georgia mountains. Um, we rented a cabin, so we'll be doing some videos while we're there of camp cooking. We're going to do a little fishing at a lake up there, and um, actually one of my best friends has said that he is sending me a couple of things for fishing that he wanted me to try out, so we'll see how that works out. And but anyway, the while we're up there, I figured I was sitting here thinking, what firearm should I bring to the North Georgia mountains? So I got a couple selections here, and I wanted to talk to you about what I've chosen and why, and some of the things I still haven't decided. So we'll start off with our long gun. Generally, if I take a trip somewhere and it's legal for me to do so, I will carry a long gun, whether it be a rifle or a shotgun. Here I have the Mossberg 590A1 Mariner. Now this is a 12 gauge shotgun with an 18-inch barrel that can accept 2 3/4 and 3-inch Magnum shells. The Mariner or Marine Coat designation comes from the coating that's on here. I believe this is a Cerakote of some sort, but basically just to help it to mitigate any corrosion. Now, back when these first came out, they were actually made of full stainless steel. I wish they still did that, but either way, this is nice as well. This shotgun is unloaded, okay, but it's basically the same way it came from the factory, other than a couple of things. I did add a GG&G sling mount system, where we have the front mount here on the end of the magazine tube, and the rear mount here in between the buttstock and the receiver. On it, I do have a Blue Force Gear Vickers sling, and I think it's very important for any long gun that you consider seriously using to have a sling. Not only for ease of use, if your hands are, you need both hands to do something, or if you're, walking down the trail or through the woods, you can sling it on your shoulder and, gets it out of the way. But also, since this is also one of my main home defense guns, when I sling this up, if I, God forbid, somebody tries to take this from me, the sling is wrapped around my body. There's no way that they're going to pull this off of me. But this shotgun is, it has a 6+1 capacity, meaning 6 in the magazine tube and 1 in the chamber. And generally, for home defense, the way that I will load this is, first I will put in 2 shells of 2 3/4 inch double-aught buck, and this is a low recoil version. And then after that, I will put in 2 3/4 inch number 4 birdshot. This way, when the first 4 shells that I'm gonna shoot out of the gun will be number 4 birdshot, and if that doesn't do the trick, then I've got a couple of double-aught buck to back it up. As far as home defense goes, I have to have a loadout like this because I live in a townhouse, so there are significant over-penetration concerns, especially where I have planned on making my defense if someone was to break into our house. It is in a generally safe direction, but you know, even so, we have a house connected on either side, and then there's houses just across the street here. So a safe direction is kind of hard to come by in this situation. But that's why I load it like that. But the reason I'm considering taking this shotgun is because the North Georgia mountains have black bear. And although they generally are frightful of people, or they just don't want to even mess around with us, every once in a while you do have a bear that is, you know, he gets brave because he knows where people have left their trash out, or and he gets into people's trash cans, or somebody that doesn't have any sense is feeding them or something like that, and they get comfortable around humans, and then, you know, they can end up attacking a human, although it is very rare, but it does happen. So my plan on the loadout for this shotgun when I go up to the cabin is to have 4 rounds of double-aught buck followed by 2 slugs. These are 1-ounce slugs, 2 3/4 inch shells, and if 4 rounds of double-aught buck doesn't do it, a couple slugs will. Now I don't expect that to really be an issue, but also in home defense in the cabin, where we don't have a populated area around us, I'm not as concerned about over-penetration. So I will take that load out, and that can work for people as well as animals. And I will carry some birdshot with me as well, just for, you know, just to have it. Now, I'm not sure if I want to carry this, or I have coming an AR-10 308, and I plan on going to the range before we leave and zeroing that rifle. And so that's my first decision to make, is either bring the shotgun or bring the rifle. Okay. Now, as far as handgun is concerned, I have 2 options here. First is a firearm that you saw in my last video where I was showing how to clean a revolver. This is my Smith & Wesson 686 357 Magnum revolver. Now, as far as bears go, this is a pretty good loading. Put 357 Magnums in there, defensive rounds. That could be either full metal jacket or hard cast lead as far as animals go. And you know, that'll do the trick for any home invaders as well. But that's a good loadout, and this is a stainless steel revolver, so I won't have to worry about any kind of corrosion or anything like that being out there near the lake. A second option is this firearm right here. This is the Walther P99as. I've had this firearm for about 8 years, and this is typically my carry gun. I carry this, or I have a smaller pistol as well. This holds 15 rounds of 9mm plus one in the chamber, or I also have, for when I'm open carrying, like when we go out to the cabin, Walther sells these extended base 17 round magazines. Now the reason I would carry this is because if I'm already carrying a long gun, you know, that can serve as the main defense for bear and that's coyote, that sort of thing, if needed. and this can be more of a carry gun if we have to go into town or things of that nature. I can have a concealed carry gun. This gun, this Smith & Wesson here, I do not have an inside the waistband concealed carry holster for it. I have an outside the waistband that is somewhat concealable, but as it warms up, it's not going to be concealable anymore with the type of clothing that I'm wearing. So that's my next decision, but it'll be one of these two handguns is what I will carry. And you know, in a pinch, a 9mm can be used on smaller animals like a coyote, that sort of thing. Not really sure if it would have much effect on a black bear, but yeah. So these are the firearms I'm thinking about taking. And like I said, once we do our videos while we're at the cabin, I'll show what I decided on bringing and that sort of thing. By the way, this pistol is somewhat unique in that it is a double action, single action, striker fired polymer frame handgun. This is the gun that the original Canik design ripped off, and I'm really surprised there wasn't a lawsuit about that. I mean, it was almost a one-to-one copy, other than, you know, some of the textures being different and that sort of thing on the grip. But and I've never really understood why these weren't more popular, but I guess it kind of comes down to Walther themselves. They didn't really market this very well. The only way I knew about it was actually looking for, you know, I typed in that criteria into Google or something and asked, you know, is there such thing as a double action, single action, striker fired polymer frame handgun? And this was one of the only choices, if not the only choice at the time, if I remember correctly. But this is the Gen 2 model. The Gen, they do have a Gen 3, but you don't usually see those. You usually see the Gen 1, which has the little ski ramp inside the trigger guard here, or the Gen 2 where they took that out, made the slide serrations a little wider, changed, made the magazine release here. This has the European style magazine release on the trigger guard, made it a little longer, and some of the writing on it and that sort of thing they changed a bit. But either way, that's choice number 2. Now, as far as the knife I'm going to carry, or the knives, right? I always carry with me a Spyderco Native. I think this is the Native 4. This is my regular pocket knife that I carry. I always have this with me. And then as far as fixed blades go, for my smaller knife, I am probably going to take this knife here. This is an SE Azula. Now it comes with just a skeletonized handle here, and I actually looked up how to do the paracord wrapping and did this myself. And it turned out okay. But this is my small task knife. You know, pocket knife is used for really light duty, basically opening packages as far as, you know, food packaging and stuff like that. Then we have our light duty camp knife here for the finer tasks, like maybe doing feather sticks or making shavings to start a fire, that sort of thing. And then for my larger knife, this is somewhat a general use knife, but a larger one. This is an Ontario Rat 5. It has a 5-inch blade, micarta handles, and I'm not sure, I don't remember what steel this is made of, but it has a pretty thick stock on it there, the blade stock. It comes to a nice point. So I think that this is I've used it a bit. This is a pretty decent all-around camp knife. It has a nice belly on the blade here for slicing, and so these are probably the knives that you'll see out there. This Rat 5 comes with a pretty decent sheath, and it has a strap here that will hold on to the finger choil, and a strap here that is just for extra security of the knife. And this will slide on a belt, and that's generally the way that I carry it. The Azula, if they're still, I believe they're still made this way as far as the sheath goes. It has a little plastic sheath that it just snaps into, and it comes with a belt clip that you can position. There's 4 screws here. You could position it how you like and be able to put it on your belt or whatever you like. So that's pretty much what I'll be taking with me as far as knives and firearms, but I'd like to hear some of you guys' opinions. What do you think? If you've had any, now remember, we're not going into grizzly territory or anything. There's nothing like that around here, but in black bear territory, would you think 357 revolver or 9mm handgun? Since I'm carrying a long gun, keep that in mind. As far as long gun is concerned, do you think 12-gauge shotgun or 308 semi-automatic rifle? So let me know in the comments what you think. Now while I'm there, like I said, we're going to take our fishing supplies. We have a new, my wife bought me a raft for Christmas, and we're going to be testing that out for the first time, see how that works, and tool around the lake in it and that sort of thing, and try to make some camp cooking videos. We're trying to figure out what we want to make over the campfire, and hopefully just have a good time. So if you like this content, please like and subscribe, share if you feel like. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and we'll talk to you soon. I'm signing out. Thanks.